Hello, beautiful humans. My name is Annie, and this is Holy Hell Hope, a channel at which I give readings and rants and spiritual messages that might be helpful to those folks who are really struggling to make meaning out of the world today. And today is July 31st of 2019. So we are about to move into a brand new month, which can be a brand new chapter in any of our given stories. So I would like to offer a a message to each of those who might be watching these videos according to these four stacks of cards. And I will explain what I intend to do with these cards, but I also want to make sure that that those folks who are supporting me and maybe aren't into YouTube tarot videos are aware that this is not meant to be a video that you necessarily watch all of. The idea is that you will feel drawn to one of these stones or one of these stacks, or even just the numerical order, that one or two or up to all, but that some of these messages might feel especially relevant, or you might feel drawn to them. And I really do mean it can be any kind of feeling of drawnness. You can simply like the stone, recognize what it is, and be into what it's for. And you also might just, sometimes I just pick them based on whether I like the way the cards are skewed. Because why the hell not? It is genuinely my belief that every spiritual message can be made relevant to any given human being if someone is patient and present and will sit with them in that wisdom, and feel around in it and see what can be relevant. That said, you may find that the reading that you select does not seem relevant to you at all, but I think I have framed it in a way that will be useful to a lot of different folks. But before I begin, I want to invite you to like and subscribe and do the notifications thing. I really can't emphasize enough how much likes help, and I suppose I would argue that if at any point in this video I make you laugh or smile or feel moved in your soul, those are all good signs that you like it. And then you can go ahead and do that thumbs up. And I will also be leaving timestamps for the various stacks in the pinned comments. Let me go ahead and explain what I have in mind for this spread. So this is a spread that I have created for this purpose. And I really do want to emphasize that anyone who is interested in tarot, you are free to use your cards however you see fit, however they are meaningful to you. Whether it's literally just shuffling the card and cards and talking to them and waiting for something to pop out. You absolutely do not have to memorize spreads or even necessarily card meanings. Many readers are very effective simply intuitively reading the symbols that are in front of them. I happen to have memorized the meanings of these 78 tarot images, but you'll note that with the oracle decks that I use, I always go to the book because I respect that this is a different language, a different a different system of symbols, meant to convey a specific kind of message. So, by incorporating tarot decks and oracle decks together, it's my goal to offer you 5 different types of message. So the word of warning and the word of solace was my starter inspiration, and I got this phrasing from a brilliant YouTube tarot reader, Tarot's Apprentice. He's a freaking delight. I want to say probably middle-aged, perhaps, black man in Atlanta, Georgia. You don't get a lot of male online readers. Quite frankly, there aren't necessarily a ton of readers of color that I at least am familiar with. So I highly recommend Tarot's Apprentice because, for many reasons, especially because he has found it helpful to explicitly offer a word of warning and a word of solace so that you can always have that emotional balance regardless of what cards pop. So, word of warning and word of solace, which I would, at least conceptually, since this is just me starting to play around with this spread, I would imagine that this would be associated with the element of air, because that is communication, it's interpersonal interactions, everything linguistic and dramatic in a way. And then solace is, of course, the element of water, which is about soul healing and just emotional well-being as a whole. To correlate with the warning and with the solace, I'm going to select or I have selected a guardian to represent a protective energy that is already available to you for the entirety of the month of August. Now, again, my argument is that these protective energies are available to all of us at all times. The idea here is that this might be an energy that is especially close or accessible to you, or especially relevant to you, or perhaps something you're likely to encounter this month. Similarly, there is a divine figure that is meant to at least represent some inspiration that would be really helpful to you for the month of August. And I have respectively associated these with the element of earth, which is, solidity, stability, security, and the element of fire, which is about passion and inspiration and getting moving on endeavors. And then the central card, I've labeled as spirit, but I imagine I would say more this card is meant to be a card representing an energy that would be balm to your soul if you were to spend time with it when you are in your silent self, whether that is in a meditation practice or even in just the few minutes before you fall asleep at night. When you are in yourself, reflect on this symbol, this concept, and this can perhaps especially bring you to some new insights and enlightenment this month. Now let me go ahead and clarify the decks that I am using. Incidentally, I pulled all these cards for you several days ago, and that evening got away from me. So they've been kind of marinating with these stones and with these spiritual messages. And I'll explain the stones in just a second. But because there was a delay, I decided to add on, not having already been selected, so I'll be shuffling on camera, but adding on a transformative element as well. But just to clarify, the first card in each deck is from the Santa Muerta Tarot deck. Dun, 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 dun. Where's the guy's name? Fabio Listrani. Huzzah. Let's see. And then the Word of Solace is from the Crystal Unicorn Tarot by Pamela Chen. Our protective energies will be from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards by Kyle Gray and Lily Moses. The inspiring divine figure will be a Keeper of the Light Oracle card by Kyle Gray and Lily Moses. And the card meant to be maybe a companion in our solitude is from the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krantz. And then finally I will be selecting a card of a transformational energy available to you according to the Oracle of the Shapeshifters by Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith. So I love these decks. I love using a wide variety of decks, and it's my ethical belief that as long as these are decks that can be purchased on Amazon, so they're mainstream, but also as long as I'm showing the name and the credits for each, I think that it really helps, just random people to be exposed to a wide variety of symbols, because symbols are such a big part of our lives, whether we know it or not. So before I get into the decks one by one, I wanted to explain to you that this is Sunstone. This is a a very joyful stone with a strong solar energy. It's believed to inspire you to nurture yourself in order to be of service to others. So it boosts and reinforces a life force. And in fact, this has the effect that I can't pronounce well, chatoyant, which is being able to catch the light and glimmer with some iridescence. Let me see if I can catch it. And feel free, by the way, to leave me some feedback in the comments regarding whether this setup is more helpful in terms of being consistently focused. So this is a very, very joyful stone. This is lapis lazuli, which is a stone of truth. It encourages direct and honest communication and also harmony in all interactions with others. Lapis lazuli is a very special stone. It was the only natural provider of the color ultramarine, which was an incredibly rare and expensive resource and often used to color the robes of Mother Mary. This particular piece is more teal than ultramarine because ultramarine as a color creates existential anxiety for me. Fun fact. I don't really know what to make of it, but this is teal, so there we go. Black tourmaline is a primary grounding stone. It's a very popular talisman of protection used as a psychic shield. It's believed to purify and neutralize a person's own negative thoughts and internal conflicts, as well as to kind of transmute the negativity around. And finally, garnierite. This is a type of nickel mineral, and it is believed to be great for self-love and in all abundance work. Green in general is the color of the heart chakra and of growth, which is why I have selected green as the color for the border for this category of videos. And finally, this is going to be our companion for these spiritual pick-a cards. I don't know his name though. I know he's freaking delightful. Pudgy little unicorns. So pudgy that it also makes me think of, pigs flying. So makes me very happy, but I do not know his name. So if you feel inspired at any given time during this reading and you feel like you know his name, you let me know in those comments. So go ahead and take a moment to take a look at these piles. I'm going to ring a brass bell just a few times to clear out this energy, and we will begin with pile 1, this being pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Pile 1, the sunstone. If you are drawn to this stone, then you might be seeking more creative energy or more self-confidence. Those being the significance of the chakras that this stone is aligned with, the sacral and the solar plexus. But in general, you might be longing for a little bit more joy, a little bit more sass or energy or chutzpah. Let's see what we have here. As a word of warning, the King of Pentacles. This is a very strong card. This is the master of the element of earth. This is a very security-minded individual. As a word of warning, it could be suggesting that you might be having difficulty remaining in mastery of your material situation. You may feel disempowered. If you don't have very much financial freedom, you may be feeling as though you have not been empowered to take ownership of your own material wellness. But additionally, this could be simply suggesting the reverse, that you might be overly concerned with locking shit down, making sure that your resources don't walk away. In terms of warning, this specifically seems to be suggesting that you've got some stuck energy um, around your need for security and control. Yes. As a word of solace, the Knight of Pentacles. Come on, guys. Gonna keep me on my toes, huh? Okay. The Knight of Pentacles. The Knights are the active agents of each suit, of each element. The Knight of Pentacles is the most reliable. This is the slow and steady wins the race kind of guy. In a negative context, it could be a mercenary energy, but in a positive sense, the idea here is that healing can be gained through routines, through the development of new routines, new spiritual practices, self-care habits related to your physical health as well. Because again, the earth element is about all physicality, not just money in the bank, but your health, your sense of being solid. This is a very, very solid energy. So to put these side by side might be suggesting that if you are having issues in control, either you do not have enough of it or you are too focused on it. Maybe take a deep breath, step back, and focus on what you can do consistently as an empowered and steady, an empowered person steadily moving towards however you are meant to thrive. Against this warning, you have the protective energy of the Lord. Take charge with authority. Interesting. Strong Celtic imagery. This associates with the Emperor card in Tarot. It associates with the Sky Father archetype as a whole. This would be something related to Jesus, if that's your symbolic language of choice. Go ahead and jump in here. The message here is do not be afraid to take charge or to use your voice. Be strong. Sometimes you have to take control in order to be honored. If you feel that your kindness or gifts are being taken for granted, it is time to change that. Create boundaries. There is no excuse for bad behavior, and your ancestors are encouraging you to hold your ground and speak your mind in a fiercely loving way. You have the energy and might to overcome dramas or energies that are not working for your growth, and it's time to take charge before you find yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. You are encouraged to be the boss instead of being bossed. Excellent. Okay. So let me jump back here real quick. I think it's worth emphasizing that the King of Pentacles is an inherently conflicted card because of the quote-unquote masculine nature of the king role, the master role. But the Pentacles is, as Earth, is a passive or receptive element. So the idea here is that you have some receptivity or some stagnation based on your issues around control, whereas this card is saying, hey, okay, maybe things aren't super solid. One of the ways that you can address that is by getting fired up, right? By getting ready to charge forth into some kind of change that you create that is not created for you. So this is a non-conflicted card because of the compatibility of the just super masculine message here. And as an inspiring figure, although the Lord certainly is inspiring in this context, we also have Lady Portia, divine order. Do what you feel is right. An important lesson is unfolding. So Lady Portia is a figure that is called an ascended master. So there are some New Age schools of thought that have identified, they believe, figures from from cultures like Atlantis and other planets. All right, that's awkward. Here's the point. Lady Portia is meant to be the woman who embodies justice, discernment between right and wrong, fairly masculinated in that sense. More of an element of air issue, air being one of the masculine elements. So this powerful goddess is a figure of justice and peace, bringing order and opportunity to every experience. As a lord of karma, she also regulates the law of cause and effect, helping us to recognize the impact of our judgment, choices, and actions. Right now, a call for justice is being brought into your space. Even if this means that you will lose out, there is no loss in the highest state of truth. Act from your heart. See the other person's point of view and surrender your pride so that you are coming from a loving space. Aha. Surrendering pride also correlates here because there is a certain amount of pride that I think is necessary for someone to double, triple down, right? Whereas Lady Portia invites us to take, again, a deep breath, a step back, a broader look at the situation so that you can assess how to be most empowered to enact, again, change in your situation, even if that change is going to be slow and steady. And then you have, this is so beautiful, the energy that has been, that has come forth as wanting to keep you company in your silence, is the energy of the Ace of Cups, a new opportunity for spiritual or emotional healing and fulfillment. This might be a new relationship. It might be a new, the discovery of a new subject matter or passion or hobby or anything that is going to help you feel as though your cup overfloweth. The advice here is that if you meditate or take those few minutes before sleep, focus in on what fulfillment looks like for you on an emotional and spiritual level, and give thought to and practice openness to the opportunities for that fulfillment that might be newly introducing themselves into your life. Excellent. And finally, what is a transformative energy? So I imagine in this context, this would be not necessarily a figure, but a symbol, something that's got your back, something that is rooting for you and might be helping to catalyze this transformation. So give me one card for this first group with the sunstone. All right. Butterflies in gloom. This card is special to me, and also I resent it because I've gotten it a couple times. Butterflies in gloom. After sadness, happiness and hope return. I don't need to read the deck, read the card, the book on this one. It's fairly straightforward. Going back to this thought of, if you are feeling disempowered, this is a reminder that any season of lying in fallow, which is a term from agriculture, if you were to basically raise, to flatten, to refresh an entire tract of land for a season, to allow it to lie in fallow so that it can, gather up those nutrients and enrich that soil all over again. That's kind of the energy here, that if you have been lying in fallow, you can trust that the point of that fallow state is so that you can burst forth in abundance. You can be transformed like a butterfly out of a fog, out of a mist. It's beautiful. It is my hope that this has seemed like a coherent message to you. If you feel like If you feel like it's really zinging for you, really clicking in for you, feel free to leave a comment reflecting on what these symbols mean to you in your context, because it's going to be different than it is for me. And as always, and as I will say after each set, if you have a spiritual or emotional concern that you feel I can help with, I do provide those services, and you can contact me at holyhellhope@gmail.com. Thank you very much for spending some time with me on this video. All right, moving on. This is group 2, lapis lazuli. One of the possible factors here, if you were drawn to this crystal, is that it is the only one shaped as a, what's the term? Just as a point, as a pillar. There is a directionality, and because it stands flat, it goes straight up. I really like that idea that this is not just about honest communication, but about transhuman, transpersonal, transcendent communication as well. Beautiful energy. All right, so what is your word of warning for this month? Queen of Pentacles. What the heck? I shuffled those decks. The Pentacles were relevant also to the last deck. Queen of Pentacles. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So the Queen of Pentacles is a harmonious card in terms of the quote-unquote feminine role of the queen, which is the sustainer of whatever element is associated with that suit. So this is the figure that is in charge of sustaining the material stability and security in their lives, and often, let's be frank, in the lives of others. The Queen of Pentacles is likely to be a matriarch, or likely to have kind of a mothering vibe towards others. But that being said, this woman is a solo figure. She has just a single bag, perhaps some coins, but she is climbing that ladder. In terms of a word of warning, I hate to say it, but the very first level or layer of meaning would, of course, be the juxtaposition between being a working mother and a stay-at-home mother. But, of course, broader than that, right? The conflict between nurturing and striving. Standing apart as an empowered individual of realized potential, and sometimes but usually or being a supermom. and supermoms are truly incredible. But if nothing else, this message could simply and straightforwardly be a word of warning for some balance. Specifically in terms of this metaphor, anyone who has used ladders will know that it is always good to have someone there to brace it, right? It would not do to have her fall off that ladder and break something. Plus, you can kind of see there's an indication that the ladder ends soon. This might not be the most stable climb. So the Queen of Pentacles, because of the emphasis on stability, might simply be warning you that you are having some difficulty with balance in your life right now. Perhaps difficulty discerning how much to move forward on your own, and versus how connected you feel to a family or community. There's an African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So that might be relevant here. But we'll also see in the context of the other cards. Your word of solace is the Hierophant. Interesting. So the Hierophant is the Pope, is the man, is all structures of authority, institutions that are highly regimented. So literally the government, the church, etc. Let's see. because of the specificity of this placement in my spread, and because this is a major arcana card, meaning that forgive me, it was such a good verb. It trumps the minor arcana in play. So it may simply be as straightforward as to say there are institutions in your community, institutions to which you are connected that you can draw on. Additionally, if you're feeling as though you are struggling with stability, if you feel as though you need someone to metaphorically steady your ladder, folks who happen to have a relationship with a church, or what might be called a church family, can sometimes call on those folks for assistance and support if it is a healthy institution and a good ecclesiastes or ecclesiology, pardon me. Solace from the church. Not too many folks get that. That's not really where they go for that. So maybe it'll make more sense in a hot minute. Protective energy. Good Lord. Literally the great teacher. As you can see, this is the Jesus card of this deck. All right, fine. You can be the Hierophant literally if you want to. Damn it. Fine, be the church. All right. Where's my book? Book. There we go. Great teacher. Grumble. Gosh, okay. Know that what is happening around you is divinely inspired. Learn from your current experiences and share them with others. This card can represent a teacher in your life, a mentor figure, which can again be a literal interpretation of the Hierophant and a formal mentoring relationship. But the card may represent the great teacher within. Either way, it shows you that you have dedicated a lot of time, effort, and energy to understanding yourself and the world. You are having spiritual experiences at this time. You are gaining a greater awareness of what you need to do in order to grow. There is a great chance that if you have been having challenges lately, you have surmounted them and allowed them to be vehicles to lessons that are helping your spiritual connection. If you feel that you have received messages from heavens or the universe recently, this card is confirmation that these have indeed been holy experiences. Well, now that is beautiful, isn't it? There is an emphasis here on growth, on discerning the best ways to grow, which again I think does echo nicely this imagery of climbing up into the trees. It is pretty beautiful. So apparently if you metaphorically need someone to steady your ladder, Jesus has got your back. No snark. This is the protective energy available to you for the month of August, and that is a very beautiful thing. And I apologize for my sarcasm. Inspiring energy. Joan of Arc, the voice of truth. Hell yes! Stand strong. Focus on your purpose. Release the fear of persecution and speak your truth. Huzzah. Lapis lazuli indeed. And in fact, this is much closer to the ultramarine coloring. Oof. Joan of Arc. Chills. Okay. So yeah, there's no denying it here. You have a fiercely independent woman, or a fiercely competent woman, right? Because she stood above and before so many, but she was a leader. She had a community, and she was a profoundly religious, very, very Catholic woman. So again, reinforcing this traditional message of a church structure or community. Joan of Arc, you are being encouraged to stand strong. If you feel unrecognized and misunderstood, That does not mean that you must give up on the mission that you feel called to fulfill. Beautiful. You must follow the will of your soul and exercise your leadership spirit by speaking your truth. You may feel as if you are on a battlefield, but this conflict will come to an end as soon as you stop defending yourself. You are not here to prove yourself to others. Instead, approve of yourself. Know that your angels are on your side and that heaven is thanking you for being the honest soul that you are. So again, emphasizing that that possible tension, that interesting contrast between the fact that she had to stand alone. That's the point of her story. She stood tall. She took on the mantle. She bore arms and fought for her truth. Oh gosh, I'm getting verklempt. Okay. Queen of Pentacles. Okay. A companion for your times of silence. Beautiful. Three of Pentacles. This is working together. Traditionally, in the original Rider-Smith-Waite deck. This is literally in a church, guys. I mean, this is a little on the nose. It's a card of various experts coming together to build something strong, build something physically manifested, something that provides security. In the traditional deck, they are building a sanctuary. They are working on the church itself, masonry and all. And here, with the mountain imagery, this reinforces the message that when we build together, it is stronger. There is a great deal of capacity, of strength, and of expanded horizons and potential when we combine our forces. So as independent as you may feel, whether by choice or otherwise, if you are struggling to do it all on your own, to find that healthy balance, connect to a community. Let your inner wisdom lead you to a community, a good one, one that can actually feed your soul. And when you connect to them, if you join them, if you contribute to that community, you are able to help to build something meaningful. Gorgeous. Up. Well, all right then. The fairy ring. New skills, advanced training, and rapid improvements. Well, okay then. We definitely got a lot of community here. A bunch of really beautiful animals. We got a chipmunk, a bunny, a little rat, a little frog. So cute. Don't know what the hell it means. Let's check, shall we? Buddy of mine mentioned that they enjoyed my little theme song, wait music. Let me know if you feel the same way. All right. Interesting. So are these fairies playing with sweet animal companions, or are these fierce freedom fighters learning new skills? Even beings as adorable as they must learn new abilities. They must learn how to train the young ones and teach the skills they will need in the world of changes that we all live in. Let's see. This card represents the catalyzing energy, something that can help you to transform via learning new skills, advancing in your talents, sharpening your reactions and your senses, following discipline and structure. You are likely to take a course, study, and gain solid credentials in a field you are looking at longingly. There will be an examination, a very important test of your skills. Interesting. And then from the first person of the fairy ring members themselves. They say, while it may look fun and like we are merely putting on a show, we are also learning how we will keep the wild ones free and safe when the machines move in. We will never give up the wild places. We will train, learn, and understand the enemy to understand those who would harm the places and beings under our protection. We will do what must be done to save our friends. You can do what must be done to take your stand, to speak your truth, the truth that has been perhaps guided and shaped by the great teacher within yourself. Ah, beautiful. Well, thank you for spending this time with me. I hope that this has been a relevant and coherent spiritual message for you. If you feel that it has been, feel free to leave a comment. Definitely the like and subscribe. And if you have a spiritual concern and feel that I can help you, I do provide services. You can reach me at holyhellhope@gmail.com. Thank you again. Okay. Moving on to the black tourmaline. This is one of the very first stones that I ever purchased for myself. I took it to my work at the suicide hotline many times, and I gripped it in my hand when I needed to. This stone has seen some shit. And perhaps so have you, right? I mean, if you are drawn to the only jagged stone, if you are drawn to the deep and protective energy of this black stone, that you might be feeling the need to go hard in certain areas of your life, to take on some challenges and to prove that you can bear up to that pressure. Let's see, shall we? Word of warning. The Ace of Cups. Be mindful that you are not overly emotional or overwhelmed by your emotions at this time. I do not believe that there can be issues of having too much emotion. I think that the harm comes when you don't know what to do with your feelings, when you are not able to make any progress in processing them, when they only ever hurt, which is so fair for so many people. You might feel tearful. So much of the time, you might feel your eyes brimming over. Alternately, you might be over the moon. You might be receiving enormous blessings. There might simply here be a warning that there can be too much of a good thing, and you may want to moderate. But either way, the word of warning is when you have strong emotion, feel it, honor it, and also work with it. Take a good look at it. Figure out what it is, what it's good for, what you can use it to do. Emotional energy can be manifested, can be wrangled for creative purposes, absolutely. That can be a challenge, absolutely. And the cards suggest that might be a relevant challenge for you in the upcoming month. Let's see how it compares to these other cards. Your word of solace is the moon. Oh, that is interesting. Okay. So the moon represents a great number of things. This is an eclipse. This is the full moon laid over the sun. These are dogs howling at the moon. It represents mystery, secrets that slowly come to light, in terms of moonlight being less illuminating than sunlight. But this can also be a card of madness. The two pillars which echo the pillars of the High Priestess, which are seen close in that card as black and white. These two pillars at the distance are both gray. You are unable to discern them at this distance. There is too much confusion. Strong water element. In fact, a crustacean, right? Like those amoebas that we were crawling out of the ocean. Tower of selenite to manifest the power of the moon. I'm really struck at how similar these cards are in terms of just the abundance of emotional energy. And to have such a similar word of warning and word of solace suggests to me that your emotions right now are incredibly powerful. They have the power to run the show if you let them. But many people also know that there have been times that they have suffered, that they have grappled, that they have dug deep into their thoughts and their feelings, and they have learned new things through their suffering, through their confusion or their doubt or whatever struggle can be caused by the limited illumination here. I really just kind of love that these cards are so similar. But and really I think the most powerful distinction here is that this is a major arcana. It trumps the minor. This is a new opportunity, perhaps. Sorry to jump back real quick. The ace aspect is important. There is a newness. You might have just received a new emotional message or blow that has you reeling, and that you might be feeling especially overwhelmed by or reactive to. That's very, very fair. And the moon, I think, here would be suggesting that if you have any skills or habits around intuition, around divination, around any kind of like spiritual spelunking, this is a good time for it. This is a good time to seize your cup of emotion and to wield it, to peer deeply into it, to scry. Metaphorically. The moon is a card of magic, of feminine power. So perhaps this card suggests that while the incredible intensity or freshness of the emotion can cause huge problems, it can also be leveraged for your spiritual betterment. So, a protective energy that is already correlating to your word of warding is autumn. Release the old and rest. Oh, beautiful. Crow imagery. You're probably all familiar with the fact that crows and ravens have traditionally been seen as ominous, as related to death, to just foreboding news. And that might simply be reinforcing the idea that you may have recently received an emotional shock. In that context, when I find it, which I will, don't be like this. In that context, why would you not be in order? Where is autumn? What the heck? Alphabetized? Really? For the seasons? Whatever. Okay. You are protected by the energy of encouragement for you to release all of the pressure and expectations that are holding you down. Shed it all so that you can recover before moving into a time of renewal. Autumn is my favorite season. I love the liminality of it. I love that it feels like a threshold, a space between hot and cold, too much and too little. It's a very precious time to me. The raven on the autumn card shows that there is an opportunity to heal at this time. Kyle Gray in this deck has decided to emphasize the Celtic animal medicine of the raven, in which in which system the raven is believed to be a bird of healing and initiation. So the healing brings a shift that allows you to move into a more powerful psychic space where you can be more aware of your needs and desires. You know what is heavy and what is holding you back. Like the trees letting go of their leaves and fruit in the autumn, it is time for you to let go. And the month ahead may usher in important energies with regards to your questions or intentions, whatever it is that you might be grappling with. When you let go, you make space for the new to enter into your life. So, psychic abilities, the emotional, the transition between emotional states, the emotional processing of pain, of loss, of burdens, as the card is emphasized. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, good Lord. You are being invited to find inspiration in the figure of Mother Mary. Love and peace. Let go. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. So with this card, they have decided to emphasize that very specifically, if this card is drawn by you or for you, you might be struggling with your relationship with the maternal figures in your life, your own mother, the women with whom you might have power differentials. Let's see what the book itself has to say. Mother Mary, love and peace. It is time to let go of conflict. The more you fight for the point that you want to prove, the unhappier that you will be. Pointing at the mistakes or mishaps of others just blocks the road to love in your own life. Mary is the divine mother of acceptance, and she is with you now, encouraging you to forgive. Forgiveness is not about letting anyone get away with their bad choices, but about choosing to create your own happiness. Mother Mary also brings healing to you and your mother. Mary's miraculous light is here now to wash away your darkness. So, if the emotional tumult has been caused by a betrayal, by a person wronging you, this figure, this card, Mother Mary, does not deny that. Does not deny the wrongdoing. Does not pretend that it is right. But she asks you to rise above and to move beyond the choices of others. Letting go of emotional wounds, healing emotional wounds, grappling with your own psyche, minding your cup so that it doesn't overflow so much as to flood out the rest of your life. And in this context, when you are in your silent time, reflect on, oh gosh, yep. Okay. The Five of Swords. This is a card about severing ties, burning bridges. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it is a man who is triumphant. It is winning at any cost. There are peers that are walking off into the distance, having been defeated, having been alienated. There are a lot of negative meanings for this card. But the most positive, the most life-giving and empowering message to be found in this card is encouragement for you to gain some mental clarity on what it is that you are about, what it is that you need, what it is that you have the right to demand in your relationships, what boundaries must be drawn. You're being told to release something. Get rid of something, whether it is an emotional, blockage, a story that you have told yourself, that others have told you, a story that does not have to be true anymore, or perhaps never was. Get rid of it. Let it go. Let it go so that you can focus on the healing of your own emotions as attached to it. You will be loved and nurtured through that. But you may be in danger of being flooded by emotions and unable to think clearly, and this card suggests that in your quiet time, strive for clarity of purpose, clarity of vision, or even just clarify your own dignity in terms of where you stand, what you will accept, and what you must push away from yourself. And what is a transformative energy available to help you to do that? So something that's going to catalyze some of this growth. Catalyze. Come on. All right. A beautiful little worm. Take care of yourself. Well, that's so sweet and creepy. Okay, let's see her. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. See that pretty well. Take care of yourself. All right. So, self-care, first and foremost, this is, again, this is a card about ending relationships. But what that means is putting your own needs first, gaining some clarity about, again, what you will and will not stand for and accept, and being able to say, this is a boundary that I must put in place in order to be healthy in myself, damn it. Because you have a right to be healthy in yourself, damn it. Let's see, number 17. When you are going through a deep change, you often are more vulnerable than at other times. The process of change can take a great deal of your available energy, and while you may feel well and know you can get through it, at times a psychic dagger thrown by someone who feels rejected by your change, or simply an old negative pattern of your own, whatever it is, takes its last stand as it knows you are ready to move on and tries to stop you. At these times, it is most important to treat yourself as the most precious, gentle extension of divinity. It is a time now to rest, to give yourself permission to sleep more, to eat only high quality and tasty foods, to make things easy for yourself just for a few days. Choose a beautiful place to rest and recuperate, cocoon, and comfort yourself for a time. This is a time for restoration. Wrap yourself in a metaphorical cuddly blanket and drift just for a time. That is a beautiful image. To me, it couples so nicely with the idea of Mother Mary, the idea of being cradled in her arms. I recognize that this is not a figure who speaks to everyone. She speaks to me. Doesn't speak to my husband. We like to joke he's a recovering Catholic, but I find this to be very beautiful, and that you are being encouraged to take very, very good care of yourself, not only to treat yourself as fragile, because you are not, because there is strength in feminine, intuitive, psychic abilities when you know how to wield that strength. Otherwise, you might just be swept away. So thank you for spending this time with me and receiving this message. Let me see. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if you feel as though you have a spiritual concern that I might be able to help you with, I do provide services, and you can reach me at holyhellhope@gmail.com. Excellent. Finally, garnierite. I associate this stone with the goddess Kuan Yin, the Bodhisattva of compassion and mercy, who is associated with green Tara, who is one of the avatars of Tara, who I believe is a Buddhist goddess. Regardless, I love this sage green. It's not particularly exuberant. This isn't a St. Patty's Day or bright spring morning so much as it is a cup of coffee at sunrise. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's possible that if you were drawn to this card, you were drawn to gentle healing, slow and steady, lasting. Not just healing, but recuperation, rebuilding your strength. Let's see what you got. Word of warning is Santa Muerta. In this deck, that is the name of the death card. Because this is the Santa Muerta Tarot deck, I'm sure it won't surprise you to hear that this is not a negative figure. It can be jarring to see the idea of a skeleton that is pregnant. But as warped as that imagery could seem, it was selected to emphasize that the card death does not mean literal expiration. Not always, not almost ever. But it does mean the end of something, the absolute end, the no going back kind of end of something, and the beginning of something new. This is a point of transition. It's not just end and stop, but it is an acknowledgement that every day that we do not die, we must continue to breathe. We must move forward. And when we have lost, we do find ways to cope. Let's see if the other cards can give some context to this loss. The Chariot. Damn. All right, you got a hell of a combo here with your major arcana. You are being reassured by the Chariot, which is the card of forward momentum. This is probably the quintessential card of chutzpah. This is about sallying forth. There can be an emphasis on being conflicted in which direction to take. The two sphinxes, are juxtaposed here. In some imagery, they actually pull in different directions. But the Chariot as a whole is about an undeniable force, a forward momentum. So again, emphasizing that if you experience a loss or if you end something on your own, if a death takes place in your life, regardless of what level of control you had in it, you must sally forth. But also, the forward momentum is not always a gallop. It is important to acknowledge that in terms of loss, in terms of grief, I'm always going to emphasize this. This is from my training as well. In terms of a loss, you do not have to get over it, but you will get through it. There's no getting over someone or something that you loved. It's a whole different video, but I want to emphasize that the forward momentum does not have to be a breakneck speed. And in fact, because this is a solace card, I would suggest that this is simply reassurance that you will continue to get up in the morning, to take on your day, to keep breathing. What else? Protective energy, the elder, moving beyond ancestral patterns. Excellent. So not only do you have this very, very nice resonant echo of the timelessness of the concept of death, of the fact of it, moving beyond ancestral patterns. taking wisdom from your elder. Again, this is not almost ever a literal death. This can simply be the end of something, and maybe even the intentional end of it. You may be living out ancestral patterns, patterns that were modeled for you by your parents. And some would go so far as to say patterns that you are living out that you have inherited spiritually from your predecessors. Let me go ahead and go to the book, because I always want to do justice to these oracle decks here. Maybe elder. There we go. Move beyond the limitations that have been set for you by family members past and present. Know that the energy of your spirit is more powerful than genetics and behavioral patterns. The elder is the ancestor who comes with a message of healing change. He is an embodied soul, yet he has had journeys that go beyond the physical. Therefore, he represents a reclaiming of power. When this card appears, it is an acknowledgement that you have the capacity to move beyond the limitations that have been placed upon you. If you have had expectations of success, failure, sadness, or even sickness placed upon you by your family, it is important to know that you are here to create your own story. This card represents personal healing that will bring healing to your family lineage, past, present, and future. Know that you get to decide what you take on. And also know that your own ancestors are rooting for you and are sorry for whatever setbacks they may have created for you. So there are many who have come before us or who have experienced a great deal, who will always have profound empathy for those who feel trapped in their own psyches. Sometimes bound up by the expectations or the narratives told by parents or families that are not healthy. This is the protective energy that has your back in the context of this loss or ending. This is the reminder that you are still in control of your own life. You are still the charioteer. You are not the Sphinx. You have the reins. An inspiring figure for you is Serapis Bey, Ascension. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness because the light is here. I think I mentioned that many of these figures come from traditions or schools of thoughts that might be newer, or related to unfounded spiritual interpretations. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I don't know who the hell Serapis Bey is. So let's see here. Dun 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 dun. Okay. It is believed that Serapis Bey once served as a priest in Luxor, Egypt, helping those passing on to cross over into the light. Good Lord. How thematically consistent can you be? Okay. All right. So now he is the presence that we can call on in order to ascend, rise up, reminding us of the story of Christ being resurrected after death. This figure can guide us from the lowest states of being back to the light. His energy is most like that of a phoenix, giving us the support to move out of our own hell or darkness into a space that supports our growth. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. So I really do want to emphasize that both these are major arcana. These are both incredibly powerful figures. Of course, though, that's the point of these two decks. But you are being told that August may bring loss, an end of something. It might be an end that you choose or a loss that you suffer. And you will get through it. You will get through it because you have the right to make decisions about how you process and cope. And you have the right not to get tangled up, not to get stuck in the loss, in the sadness, in the darkness, whatever it might be. You're being lifted up by folks, your personal elders. The idea, at least, is that these are your people. They share your blood, or they have borne witness to your life. They know you. They know what factors are holding you back, and they have glimpsed the potential that you can achieve, and they are rooting for you. So they push you forward. They push you forward. And Serapis Bey, or whatever he may represent for you, lifts you up. And you are able to move through, to learn from this loss. And in your times of silence, give thought to, oh my gosh, one of my all-time favorite tarot cards, another major arcana. This is a powerhouse, guys. This is a powerhouse. This is healing. That is what this is. The Star, number 17. This is the Sanctuary card. It is the haven, the hope, holding out optimism. Aspiration for something better, reaching beyond, ascending, transcending. In terms of advice for August, this card is suggesting that when you have your quiet moments, imagine a sanctuary in your soul, a haven, your very own personal haven, or imagine the people and the places on earth that make you feel most safe, or most loved, or most whole is the point here, guys. Wholeness, shalom. Not just peace, but wholeness. It's beautiful. What is the transformative energy that is available to you to catalyze the huge spiritual upgrade that you might be able to achieve through this loss? And incidentally, no matter how positive these other cards might be, I am never going to ever deny or to minimize the fact that the loss can hurt, and it can hurt a long time, and it will hurt over and over again. And even as you make progress, it is not so much that you will be set back, but you will pause. You will be brought to a halt, and there will be times when you will sit in your grief. It is healthy. It is natural. You do not have to barrel past the pain. You can't. There's that. So don't try. It'll hurt more. And it's not fair to you. Alright, what are we doing here? What is the transformative energy available to these folks? Transformative energy. Okay. Alright. Gonna be coy. Brother Raccoon, a safe place for you to go. There is someone that that is in my coven that I am becoming close friends with, and the raccoon is an incredibly powerful symbol for them. And the raccoons around my apartment are a little alarming, but this one, he looks safe. He looks calm as a raccoon can be. He knows that he is watched over. What does it say? Oh gosh. That's beautiful. Raccoons speak of stealth, remaining undercover, flying under the radar. Raccoons suggest that you take cover, work with camouflage. Do not reveal who you are, what you do. It is all right to protect yourself. It does not mean you have to be furtive or sneaky, although some might call it so. If you want to keep your plans, your thoughts, your feelings to yourself, you get to do that. It means to quietly get on with your day-to-day and the very soulful business of change without showing everyone every detail along the way. You have far to go, and at this early stage, perhaps after a fresh loss, it is not advisable to share all you do, so you don't have to. There is a sacred part of you that must be protected, for it could easily be exhausted. This card specifically encourages you to keep your own counsel, to embrace silence, to not necessarily speak about your projects, about your processes to others. It's so interesting. I'm so used to oracle cards encouraging people to use their voices, and this one says, do not speak. Interesting. But quite frankly, there are situations in which it is in fact safest to keep yourself to yourself. And when you are doing as much inner work as these cards indicate August may have in store for you, when you are doing this much soul spelunking, you do not have to explain it to anyone else. And it may feel as though you freaking can't. It's just not possible. When we are transformed within ourselves, we begin to understand and learn things that cannot be put into words. And we don't have to try. You certainly can. There's a great deal of value, and many people process things verbally. Clearly, I'm one of those people, but if you are experiencing something heavy, remember it belongs to you. You can keep it safe, you can keep it quiet, you can keep it between yourself and your soul. Yourself and your holy ones and spirit folk. And damn if that's not a cute raccoon. Boop. Thank you very much for sharing this time with me, and I genuinely hope that this is a message that is coherent and relevant to you. It's a very powerful one. And it also indicates that you folks, perhaps especially, might be going through some stuff, and you could use a spiritual pep talk. You could use some one-on-one feedback, some real engagement. If you feel as though I can be of help to you, I offer professional services. You can contact me at holyhellhope@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Thank you very much for clicking this, coming here, and being a reason for me to connect with these very powerful messages. I hope that you have felt moved. I certainly have been. And I pray for all blessings for you. Amen.